Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Fluency Mindset. I'm your host, David, and today we are tackling the elephant in the room. We are tackling that heavy, frustrating feeling of studying English for 10 years, knowing all the grammar rules, passing the exams, and yet freezing up the moment someone says, hello.
It is the most common problem in the world, David. I'm Sarah. Great to be here. And honestly, it breaks my heart. I see students who can write perfect essays, but they are terrified to open their mouths. Today, we aren't talking about verbs or adjectives. We are talking about the psychology of fluency.
I love that title. Stop studying, start speaking. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? We are taught that to learn, we must study. We must sit at a desk. We must highlight text. But you're saying that's actually the trap?
Exactly. It is the academic trap. Look, David, imagine you want to learn to swim. You can buy the best books on hydrodynamics. You can study the physics of buoyancy. You can memorize the history of the breaststroke. But if you never jump into the cold water, you will drown the moment you fall in. English is not a subject like history or math. It is a performance skill. It's a sport.
That is such a powerful content. A sport. You know, I remember when I was first trying to improve my public speaking, I read all the books, but the first time I got on stage, my knees were shaking. I couldn't breathe. I realized all that reading didn't prepare me for the emotion of the moment.
And that is the key word. Emotion. Language is emotional. Think about it. Why do we speak? To connect, to share a piece of our soul. There is a beautiful quote by Nelson Mandela that I always come back to. He said, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart.
That goes to his heart. Wow, that gives me chills.
Right? But here's the problem. Most learners are stuck in their heads. They are translating. They are thinking, is it present perfect or past simple? Is it in the car or on the bus? They are engaging in a math problem, not a human connection. And that anxiety, that fear of being judged, that is what kills fluency. Not a lack of vocabulary, it is a surplus of fear.
Let's dig into that fear, because I think a lot of our listeners are sitting in their cars or on the train right now, nodding their heads. I heard people describe it as a physical blockage in their throat. Why is English specifically so terrifying for people?
Because English has become the gatekeeper. It's not just a language anymore. It's a status symbol. It's the key to a better job, a scholarship, a life abroad. When the stakes are that high, the pressure to be perfect is crushing. I had a student, let's call him Ahmed. Brilliant engineer, genius level, but he failed job interview after job interview. Not because he wasn't qualified, but because he felt his English made him sound stupid. He felt like a child again.
That's the worst feeling. You know you are an intelligent, complex adult in your native language. You can make jokes, you can debate politics. But in English, you feel like you're 5 years old again. I want apple. It's humiliating.
It is a loss of identity. Ludwig Wittgenstein, the philosopher, famously said, "The limits of my language mean the limits of my world." When you can't express yourself, your world shrinks. You become smaller. And that leads to the paralysis of analysis. You analyze the sentence so much that by the time you construct it perfectly in your head, the conversation has moved on. You missed the moment.
So let's pivot to problem solving. If the problem is psychological, if the problem is perfectionism, how do we break the cycle? How do we stop studying and start speaking?
We have to embrace the ugly phase.
The ugly phase? That doesn't sound fun.
It isn't, but it is necessary. The ugly phase is where you make mistakes. It's where your accent is thick. It's where you use the wrong word and everyone looks confused. You have to realize that mistakes are not proof of failure. They are proof of effort. If you aren't making mistakes, you're not learning. You're just reviewing what you already know.
I see. So instead of trying to avoid mistakes, we should actually run towards them.
Precisely. I want our listeners to try a technique called shadowing, but with a twist. Usually people shadow or repeat after audio to get perfect pronunciation. I want you to practice it to get used to the rhythm of your own voice making these sounds. But more importantly, I want you to practice imperfect action.
Imperfect action. Give me an example.
Okay, let's say you were at a coffee shop. You want a latte. In your head, you rehearse. May I please have a grande latte with oat milk? You say it perfect in your mind. But when you get to the counter, you panic. Imperfect action means you just blurt it out. Latte, oat milk, big. Is it perfect grammar? No. Did you get your coffee? Yes. Did you survive? Yes.
And the brain registers that survival. It realizes, hey, I spoke broken English and the sky didn't fall.
Exactly. You desensitize yourself to the fear. You have to treat English like a tool, not a piece of art. A hammer doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to drive the nail in. If you communicate your message, you have succeeded. Grammar can come later. Connection comes first.
I love that analogy. A hammer. Use the language to get what you need. But Sara, what about the people who don't live in an English-speaking country? We hear this excuse all the time. David, I live in a village where nobody speaks English. How can I start speaking?
That is the biggest myth of the 21st century. We are living in the digital age. You have the entire world in your pocket. But you have to be creative. I call this creating an immersion bubble. You don't need a plane ticket to New York. You need to change your digital environment.
Walk us through that. How do I create a bubble?
First, change your phone settings to English. It sounds small, but you look at your phone 100 times a day. That is 100 micro lessons. Second, stop watching movies with subtitles in your native language. Turn them off or use English subtitles. But here is the big one. Talk to yourself.
Talk to myself? People might think I'm crazy, Sara.
Let them think you are crazy. You will be the crazy person who speaks fluent English in a year. Narrate your life. When you are cooking, say out loud, I am chopping the onions. The onions are making me cry. Now I am finding the frying pan. It feels silly, yes, but you are connecting your physical actions to the English words without translation. You are bypassing your native language.
That's incredibly practical. It's about bridging the gap between the thought and the mouth. I actually tried this once while driving. I would just describe the cars passing me. Red car, fast blue truck. It actually helped me stop translating in my head.
It works because it builds muscle memory. Your mouth has muscles. If you never use them for English sounds, they will be weak. You have to go to the gym for your mouth. And speaking of gyms, let's talk about the why. Because motivation fades, right? We get excited, we study for a week, and then we quit.
Oh, absolutely. The New Year's resolution effect. How do we keep the fire burning? Why is English actually important beyond just getting a job?
We need to look at the bigger picture. English is the operating system of the world. It is the language of the internet, of science, of aviation, of diplomacy. But more than that, it is the language of access. If you only speak your native language, you have access to maybe 5% or 10% of the world's knowledge. When you learn English, you unlock the other 90%.
That's a staggering statistic. It's about freedom of information.
It is. And it's about human connection. I remember reading a biography of Charlemagne, the emperor. He said, to have another language is to possess a second soul. When you learn English, you aren't just learning words. You are learning a new way to view the world. You become more empathetic. You become a global citizen. You can travel to Japan and speak English. You can go to Germany and speak English. It is the bridge.
I think that shifts the perspective from, I have to do this because my boss said so, to, I get to do this because I want to expand who I am.
Yes, you move from extrinsic motivation, fear of being fired, to intrinsic motivation, the joy of growth. And let me tell you, the joy of making your first joke in English, the joy of understanding a song on the radio without looking up the lyrics, that is pure dopamine. That is addictive.
Let's talk about the listeners who feel it's too late. I'm 40, I'm 50, my brain isn't plastic anymore. What do you say to the older learner?
I say that is scientific nonsense. While children learn differently, adults have a secret weapon, logic and discipline. You have life experience, you have context, you know how to solve problems. In fact, learning a language is the single best thing you can do to prevent brain aging. It keeps the mind sharp. As long as you are breathing, you can learn.
So, no excuses. Age is just a number. Location is just a coordinate. The barrier is internal.
The barrier is the ego. It is the ego that says, I must be perfect. You have to kill the perfectionist. Perfectionism is basically procrastination masquerading as quality control. You aren't being quality focused, you're just scared.
Perfectionism is procrastination masquerading as quality control. That needs to be on a t-shirt. That is brilliant. So, Sara, let's get specific on a roadmap. If someone is listening to this podcast right now and they are ready to stop studying and start speaking, what do they do today? Give us a 3-step plan.
Okay, step 1, the 2-minute rant. Every morning, record yourself on your phone for 2 minutes talking about your plans for the day. Don't stop, don't edit, just talk. Then, listen to it. Yes, it will be painful. You will hate your voice. But listen for one thing you can improve. Just one. Maybe you said she go instead of she goes. Fix that tomorrow.
Step 1, record and review. I like it. Tangible. Step 2,
Step 2, find a speaking partner, but not a teacher. Find a struggle buddy. Find someone else who is learning. There is less pressure when you are both making mistakes. There are apps, Discord servers, Facebook groups. Get on a call once a week and just chat. No lesson plan, just gossip. Talk about movies, talk about football. Make it fun.
and step 3?
Step 3, consume content that you actually love. If you love cooking, watch MasterChef Australia. If you love tech, watch Apple reviews. Do not watch Learn English Grammar videos all day. They are boring. Your brain shuts down when it is bored. You need to trick your brain into learning by feeding it content it actually craves.
That is the key. If you are interested in the topic, the language becomes secondary. You're so desperate to know who wins the cooking competition that you force your brain to understand.
Exactly. It's about input that is compelling. Stephen Krashen, a famous linguist, talks about comprehensible input, but I think compelling input is better. It has to be so interesting that you forget you are listening to a foreign language.
I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the fear of judgment. I think this is deep-rooted. We are social animals. We don't want to be outcast. How do we handle the embarrassment when we do make a big mistake? Like, really embarrassing ones.
Oh, I have stories. I once told a host family I was pregnant when I meant to say I was embarrassed because the words were similar in their language. The table went silent. My face went red. But you know what? We laughed. We laughed for 10 minutes, and I never, ever made that mistake again. You have to learn to laugh at yourself. If you take yourself too seriously, the world will tear you down. If you laugh first, you take the power back.
That's a superpower. Self-deprecation. Just owning it. Sorry, guys. My English is a work in progress. Bear with me.
And you will be surprised by how kind people are. Most native speakers, Americans, British, Australians, we love it when people try. We know our language is crazy. We know that through, though, tough, and thought all look the same but sound different. It's a ridiculous language. We have empathy for you. If someone makes fun of your English, that says more about their character than your intelligence.
That is a very important reminder. If someone mocks you, they are the problem, not you.
100%. Do not let a rude person silence your voice. Your voice matters. Your ideas matter. The world needs to hear what you have to say. Don't rob the world of your contributions just because you are missing a preposition.
Sarah, as we start to wrap up, I want to address the plateau, the intermediate plateau. The beginners make fast progress. They go from 0 to ordering food. But then they get stuck. They understand everything, but they can't speak fluently. It feels like they're hitting a wall.
The intermediate plateau is where most people quit. It feels like you are working hard, but not moving. This is because the gains are smaller. In the beginning, learning 10 words doubles your vocabulary. At the intermediate level, learning 10 words is a drop in the ocean. The solution here is deep dive. You need to stop learning general English and start learning specific English.
Specific English?
Yes, pick a niche. Are you in marketing? Learn every single idiom related to business and sales. Low-hanging fruit, touch base, think outside the box. Master that tiny corner of the language. Then move to the next. Don't try to boil the ocean. Just heat up 1 cup of water at a time.
That makes it manageable. It's actionable.
And remind yourself of how far you have come. We always look at the mountain ahead of us, and we rarely turn around to look at the valley we just climbed. Celebrate your wins. If you understood this podcast today, that is a win. 5 years ago, you might not have understood a word. Give yourself credit.
We are our own harshest critics.
Always. There is a quote by Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It is all mindset. If you tell yourself, I am a bad English speaker, your brain will look for evidence to prove you right. If you tell yourself, I am a communicator and I am getting better every day, Your brain will find evidence for that.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. So, the script we need to rewrite isn't just the one on the paper, it's the one in our minds.
Beautifully said, David. The software is fine. The hardware is fine. We just need to update the operating system of your belief.
I want to leave our listeners with a challenge. A real, physical challenge for this week. We talked about the 2-minute rant, but I want something bolder.
Okay, here is the Starbucks challenge, or whatever coffee shop is near you. Go in, order something, and then ask the barista one question. Just one. How is your day going? Is it busy today? Or, I like your tattoo. Make one small interaction that is not a transaction. Just one human moment. It will be scary. You might stutter, but do it. And then walk out and feel the rush of adrenaline.
I love that. It breaks the barrier between student and human.
And remember, fluency is not a destination. You don't arrive at Fluency Station and get off the train. It is a journey. Even native speakers make mistakes. Even I forget words sometimes. Fluency is just the ability to keep the conversation flowing, even when you hit a bump. It's about flow, not form.
Flow, not form. That's the mantra. Sarah, this has been incredibly insightful. It feels like a therapy session for language learners.
It should be. Language anxiety is real, but it is conquerable. To everyone listening, you are capable, you are intelligent, and you are ready. Stop hiding behind your textbooks. Put the book down, open your mouth, speak.
Thank you, Sarah. And to our listeners, thank you for spending this time with us. Remember, every mistake is a stepping stone. Every awkward silence is a lesson. Don't let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
Keep speaking, keep shining.
We will see you in the next episode. Until then, start speaking. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review if this episode helped you. And hey, record that voice note today. We believe in you.
Bye, everyone.